Hello, I'm called Saul. I am making what I'm hoping to be a number of videos to share important information, or important for some people, not for many. I don't know how to say really. The world's coming to an end in 2046, between March the 9th and the 10th, which is just under 21 years. And if I was listening to someone else, I said, oh, Mad Hatter. There's so many of them. In my time, I'm 71 now, in my time, I've seen 1984, an asteroid was on its way to the Earth. Then we had the year 2000, with all the computers are going to go down, end of civilization. There was 2012 with the Mayan calendar, with Greg, whatever his name is. Someone else was having another one, 2017, the separation of the Earth between the 4D and the 5D. Some people would stay in the 4D dimension, some people will move up to 5D dimension. So, I mean, this has been going on forever. Middle Ages, people used to talk about the Bible and the apocalypse. It was imminent. The time is night. It's happening now. So we've got a history of the end of the world, catastrophe. We've got it. It's there. It's in our psyche, and I've got a turkey here who's been very amorous towards me right now. I think it's all very exciting. Right. So let's. He's a bit of a distraction. Anyway, so why am I any different from any of the other nut jobs out there, for lack of a better word? I'll be honest with you, I've spent over 5 years deliberating this, questioning and disbelieving. About 5 years ago, a bit more, but I became connected to something which was greater than me. I mean, greater than my ego. It's hard to describe, but it talked to me. You say, right, nut job. And I mean, it didn't talk. Get off. It didn't talk to me initially. He likes shoes. he has a thing for shoes. And go away. Don't be a pest. And I was doing kinesiology. Go away. I was doing kinesiology. And go away. Go, shoot. And come on, look, I'm trying to do something serious here. And problem is, fat animal way thinks that's turn on. The shoe's playing hard to get. Go on then, go away. Had to put a barricade in front. Right. So about 5 years or so ago, as a result of doing kinesiology with a client, I began to realize that there was something else going on. There was some sort of intelligence communicating with me. And I began to practice on myself. It took quite a while, and gradually I got the hang of it, and I began to get conversations, this intelligence. I subsequently called it Charlie, and Charlie helped me to heal. I was in a very bad way in many ways, primarily because I become type 2 diabetic, my kidneys had become damaged, my guts were damaged. There was a whole lot of damage inside of me due to food. And anyway, short end of the story, as far as that is concerned, I've healed. He also helped me with my chakras to realign, to sort me out. And he would tell me what to do, and I do it on myself. And I would do acupressure on myself, and I would work on my chakras in the way that he prescribed. And he told me what vitamins to take, whether it's homeopathy or backflower remedies or tissue salts. He told me what to do. I knew nothing about it. He told me what to do, and I got better. Then I worked with my wife, and then I began to work seriously with other people. And anyway, so the way that he started was he told me I had to write. And I've never written in my life. But nevertheless, I started, and I wrote an article, and then that led to a book. It wasn't a particularly good book, but it got me going. And then I got into a website, and I began to write articles. And the more that I wrote, Charlie and I communicated more and more. The more I work with people, the communication, the stronger it's become between us, so that now we're practically one. Anyway, so I'm sharing this with you to say that I may be a nut job, but I'm blaming Charlie. I am blaming Charlie for me being a nut job. And I wish that I could deny what he's told me. I really do. I wish I could deny it, because life would be so much easier. I would have a full practice, loads of people. This way, I only get the most dedicated ones, because everybody else thinks I'm a nut job. So what can you do? But the world is as the world is. So he told me that the world's coming to an end, but not in the way that we think it is. You've heard the idea of as above, so below. Yeah, it's a very old maxim, and we had a cataclysm around 12,000 years ago, and there was a previous civilization we call the Atlanteans, and then a nexus of them. They survived the cataclysm, they knew where to go, and they had a civilization for another 1500 years or so. And then we had the glaciers that occupied 2/3 of the earth, and they melted, and this is what we call the Deluge. And after that there was a diaspora, and people began to travel all other places around the world, which before they couldn't, because they were covered in glaciers. And in that process, something happened. It was about 10,000 years ago that this something happened. What happened was that there was a cosmic shift, if you like, a different type of vibration emanated towards this corner of our galaxy where we are. And the solar system was filled with, I don't know, a lack of life vibration. it's a bit like on a pond. You got droplets and they expand, and you can see how the circles of those little waves, as they expand, they will either come together and nullify each other, or they make each other greater. Well, we in this solar system, we're in that point where they come together and they nullify each other. What that means from a practical perspective is that the sun has been affected, and that effect, whatever it is to do with the sun, to the sun it's a hiccup and it will do a wobbly, but from our perspective it will be practically Earth extinction from the point of view of life. Not totally. There is one place on the Earth that will survive, and this is in the southeast, about just over the halfway down, behind some mountains. I think it's been a while since I've looked at this. It could be near Madagascar. It's on my website anyway, if you're really that interested. I mentioned it in passing, not because, hey, everybody go there and try to survive, because it's a waste of time. Because those who go there and survive, they're going to be psychotic. Life is not going to be worth living if you stay on this earth at that time. It's back to the Stone Age in the worst possible way. So what happened with us, that energy thing, was something that the Hindus call the Kali Yuga, and what it means is that there is a sort of negativity that has reached the planet. We were spiritually quite advanced up to the end of the Atlanteans, even after before the Deluge, after the previous cataclysm. The previous cataclysm had nothing to do with the sun. That was simply a realignment of the Earth. This next one is to do with the sun, and it dumped people down. We went barbaric and downhill. And we call ourselves civilized now, but really we're not. We're slaves. I mean, before we were physical slaves, now we're debt slaves. There's always a few controlling the many. They can call it what they like. But we don't need looking after in that way. They say, oh, but you do, because you need law and order. In a way, they're right, but not in the way that they say it is. And essentially, most of humanity has been dumbed down to a point where they are separated from their hearts. And this sort of us above, so below, the sun is a bit damaged, we are a lot more damaged, and we are damaged internally, and so it's a chicken and egg, and so is the world around us. Who can doubt it? We're polluting the skies, we're polluting the earth, the food we eat is poisonous, it's polluted, it's full of chemicals, is devoid of life. Even what's grown in the fields, they put glyphosate and all manner of chemicals. The fish are all polluted now. I mean, we are sick. We are sick psychically, and we're sick physically, and we're sick mentally. What I mean by segmentally is that we're so full of beliefs. We believe all manner of. But you know what they say about belief? Belief is ignorance. Belief means that you don't know. It means we're totally ignorant of something. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant, but the problem with belief in our world is that we believe things, and if someone else comes with a different roadmap of reality, we become emotionally disturbed and fight against that because we know the truth. How do we know the truth? Because someone else told us. We don't actually know the truth, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing, but if someone else shows us a different perspective, in our ignorance we have to be open to the fact that we're ignorant. Well, maybe there is truth in there. Now, I've been through that road over the years, and I always jumped in head first to different things, and I always came out, rubbish. Hey, but at least I went into it. At least I entertained the possibility that there was truth in it. So that is the difference between people of faith and people who are ignorant but are open to something new. And most of us are ignorant because we know fuck all. We don't really know anything because we're not even connected to reality. We're so lost in our heads. We have no idea what life's really like. You know, we're just so divorced from reality. Anyway, I will come back to all of that at some later stage and share a lot more on the subject. So Cataclysms coming. The end of the world as we know it is going to happen, and I've fought against it myself in my head for a long time, but I now accept it. Charlie is very real to me. You could say I'm totally deluded, but he's very real to me, and he and I work with clients thousands of miles away, and he tells me things there's no way I could know, and I'm helping people, and I can't do it by myself. It's only through Charlie that I can help people, and I'm always surprised, and I don't know what to say. For me, Charlie's real. It's a real experience. And Charlie describes himself to me as a 12th dimensional soul, but that's just a description, because basically the cosmos, the universe, is all one. Well, not the universe. The universe itself is a bit limiting, but creation is all one. Just different frequencies, different vibrations, different levels. So anyway, Charlie is an intelligence at a different level. We can call it a soul. I mean, there is, within each of us, there is a soul, or a part of a soul. We're not just a machine, although a lot of people may as well just be machines for all the connection they have with their soul. But we do have a soul. It is in each of us. And anyway, Charlie's another level a bit higher than the soul that is within a human being. So why am I sharing all of this? Hopefully, so you'll take me a little bit seriously. And I'm not sharing all of this with you as a sort of as another fearmonger. I am not here to share fear. Fear is the last thing that we need as human beings. I mean, fear is part of our makeup, DNA makeup, but we're more than that. And so the positive to the story that I'm attempting to share with you is that there is a race of what I call true humans, and they are here now, and I'm also connected with them, funnily enough. Not say funnily enough, this only started about 6 months ago, and I've doubted myself. Okay, from the beginning I doubted myself, and I keep rechecking, well, is this true, is this true? And it appears that it is, and it sort of makes sense, or I'm just really deluded, which is very possible. And they're here because they're aware of the impending calamity to do with the sun, and they're here to help humanity. They're here to help us, or those, not me, I mean, I'm not going anywhere, but those of you who will be around in 21 years' time and who will be in a position to move off planet, you will be taking on board, and I can talk about this at another time. I've already been told the whole sequence, how it's all going to go. So the cruncher of why I'm sharing this with you, it is not to generate fear, it is to wake you up to the reality. We're not alone in the universe, regardless of what all these so-called scientific people might say. We're not alone in the universe. There is a race of true humans who actually helped us to be here by sharing their DNA, a little bit of their DNA, about 500 million years ago. They are aware of us, they're aware of what's going on, but they cannot help us because of where we are at this moment in time. Right now, humanity is so lost in the ego centers that they don't stand a chance. The true humans, they connect telepathically, and when the moment comes, there will be a telepathic call to say, be here at a certain place, etc., to be picked up. I'll talk more about that later, but the point is, if people stay as they are today, they will not be able to hear the call when it comes, because they'll be too busy in their heads to feel the call, and they will dismiss the prompting to be where they're meant to be, because they won't be capable, they will not be integrated whole enough in themselves to do so. So that's a sort of sweet sour, right? Death on one side, but there's some aliens who can save you, except you're too damaged at the moment, you're not going to hear the call, and so, hey, you're going off with the ship. You're going down with the ship. It's not like that. I said that the Kali Yuga, about 10,000 years ago, this new energy came to the earth, which is going to be here for about 400,000 years or so. However, call it a fortuitous coincidence, I don't know, call it help from above, call it what you will. But as from the beginning, as from January of this year, there was a break in that energy. So for the next 15 years, there is, and will continue to be, a different quality of energy coming through. It will make it easier for people to wake up, not to wake up to politics, although it's a prelude. It's not that. To wake up to their hearts to wake up to their soul, to wake up to themselves. So this is actually a very good period of time for humanity, because there are many people on this earth right now who are destined to survive in that sense, in this physical sense. And right now they're lost. And this it's like the sun is shining onto the earth. The cosmic sun is shining. The clouds are clearing. And you know how we feel when the sun's shining, you know, everything's gorgeous, right? Turkeys come round the side. And so the challenge for humanity is to hear my call. I don't want to be self-centered about it. I'm not the only one who's shouting this, who's saying these things. I just have my own way of saying it. So this event is happening. It's going to happen. And the time now is a time for truly waking up. And to wake up means the time has come to clean your body. The time has come to stop the drugs, to stop the alcohol, to stop the factory-made foods, so-called foods, they're not real foods. The time has come to really eat healthy and give ourselves the nutrients that we need, because the soil doesn't have them anymore. We've polluted ourselves. The time has come to cleanse ourselves physically, to clear our minds of useless roadmaps as to what reality is. We have so many belief systems which limit us. They limit our potential and our capacity. The truth of a human being is in the heart. But to get to the heart, we need to clear a proportion of emotional trauma. I'm not going to say all emotional trauma, but we need to clear enough emotional trauma from our psyches so that we can detach ourselves from our ego, so that we can experience ourselves right now, here, this moment. I'm here, I'm present, I exist. That's step number one. That is the prelude. So waking up, to begin with, is wake up to your own existence. We are alive. But if we're lost, scroll down the scroll hole, right, with the with the phone. If we are distracting ourselves all the time, so that we are disconnecting internally, primarily because we've got a lot of emotions that we're struggling with. If we're struggling with self-dislike, self-hate, all that negativity, all of that's in the way, all of that muddies the water, brings the dark clouds back. We need to move beyond, we need to move out of negativity. We need to move into the heart. And to do that, we need to detach ourselves, see ourselves in context. That means we need to be in our bodies physically. We need to be, we've got nerves that run all the way through the body. If we're in our heads, we don't know what's going on in the body. We need to be in our bodies. We need to release all the tensions that we accumulate because we're in our heads all the time. And through that process, gradually we start to experience the pain that is deep inside us. I'll talk more about all of that another time. But anyway, essentially, the points I'm making is, Cataclysm is happening. We've got an opportunity over the next 15 years to come together in ourselves, connect with our hearts, begin to feel, emotions. People confuse emotions and feelings. Emotions are sensations that run through our bodies, in our muscles for action. Emotion is energy of action. Feeling is what comes from the heart. It's a different level. It's the one that gives us empathy, compassion, understanding, appreciation. It's the one that allows us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. We're all capable of that. We simply need to cultivate it more and make it part of who we are. Yeah? So we need to get off our heads, come into our bodies, into our senses. Our senses. You have the phrase, come into your senses. Your senses is your body. Come into your senses, into your body. From there you can begin to clear up the mess. The emotional mess, the physical mess, the mental mess. We need separation. You're not your thoughts. At the moment, your thoughts, they go round and round and round. And indoctrination is literally repeat something often enough and you'll believe it. If you keep telling yourself that you're no good, that your nose is horrible, that you're disgusted with yourself, you dislike yourself, whatever it is. If you keep saying things like that, you believe it. You think that's who you are. That's not who you are. That's just a program. It's nothing to do with who you are, but that program is getting in the way of connecting with your heart. And there is nothing more important for a human being than to be in our hearts. So anyway, what I'm saying is, we have 15 years to connect with our hearts. And you say, yeah, but isn't that, what about the other 5.5 years or so? Well, yeah, the light will then close. But if you have managed to connect with your heart and separate, you've done two things. One is you've created a solid foundation of who you are. You now know who you are. You're real. The other one is that, like I said at the beginning, everything's vibration. Everything's frequency. So there's a new energy that's come to the earth. That's an energy, that's a vibration, that's a frequency. When we connect with our hearts, we're now generating a different level of frequency from emotion. Emotion is a low-level frequency. It's a low-level vibration, which more often than not is negative, of a negative nature. The heart is totally different level. It's a very expansive energy that really spreads around to the world around us. The more of us who connect with our hearts, the more we make it easier for other human beings to take that step, to separate from their ego, to see themselves as they are, to begin to connect themselves. And we can help other people simply by being in our own hearts. As we connect with our hearts, we make it easier for others. And even after the light changes and it goes cloudy again, there will be more than enough. There will be enough light in our hearts for those stragglers who are still coming round the edges to come to the light. Not everybody will. It's only about 2/3 of humanity then. You know, am I telling the truth? Well, according to Charlie, the world population will be down to 6 billion. So when you see the population going down, you'll know that there's truth in what I'm sharing. Okay, I asked ChatGTP for statistical figures on population growth, and you can see the very, very steep upward line up to the year 2000, and then it begins to slow down by 2020. In this second one, ChatGTP did an estimation following on from everything. From 225 to 250, it would go up from 8 billion up to 9.4 billion by 2050. So, it's 1946, we're talking 9.3 billion. In this third one, we see the gradual growth up to the year 2025. And I asked ChatGTP, well, what would it be like by the year 2046, assuming that population growth has gone down to 6-point-something billion. And you can see there that is quite a sharp decline. What can I say? You will look at those figures, and within 10 years, it's either happening or it isn't. If it isn't, you can just forget about everything I've said. Well, not everything. Hopefully you'll hang on to the stuff I will share to do with personal self-development and connecting with one's heart, but you can throw everything to do with what's going to happen in the future out of the window. What can I say? There you are. I think I'll leave it here for now. All the best, and press the button, say hi, like it. I will be sharing more. Bye for now. Take care.